John gets up off the cool, damp dirt that continued to cling to him well after getting up off the ground. He slowly crept to the master's house, trying to be as quiet as possible. He opens the door slowly, making sure not to make a sound. He first went to the kitchen to get supplies for his escape. Once he got food and clothes, he headed out of the house towards the woods to the north of the plantation. Now bolting for the woods, he headed for freedom in the north. After escaping his master's plantation, John stopped and decided to think about which military recruitment camp he wanted to go to. He finally decided on Camp Dennison, Ohio, because it was close to the Kentucky-Ohio border, and it wouldn't take as long as some of the other recruitment camps around the area, so it would allow for him to be into the military quicker and not be caught by the Confederates. After John escaped, he ran through Nashville, Tennessee, and Lexington, Kentucky, to end up in Ohio. While in Ohio, John finally spotted Camp Dennison, a Union recruitment camp in Dennison, Ohio.
After so long, it's so close.
John walks into the Union camp. He approaches the closest Union soldier.
Where's the recruitment area? I want to enlist.
It's right over there, behind the medic tent.
Thank you.
John walks over to the recruitment office.
I want to enlist.
You need to fill out this form and give it back to me when you're done.
Thank you very much.
John fills out the form and then gets stumped on the last question. Why do you want to fight in the war? At least John went to seek help from the office assistant.
What can I help you with?
I'm stuck on the very last question. What does it mean by why do I want to join the Army?
Well, why did you come here in the first place?
Well, at first I came here to escape slavery from the South. But then I was running and saw all these poor slaves getting abused, and I remember going through that, and I don't want any people to go through that anymore. I want to stop the cruelty to African Americans, and honestly, the war is the only thing that can stop it.
I think you have great intentions, but if you can't answer the last question, I don't think you're ready for war.
No, I'm ready.
Trust me, you aren't.
John storms out of the office mad. Weeks go by. John returned day after day, stronger and stronger. He read the form every time, and after several weeks of hard work, John was finally accepted. Later that night, John was lying next to a sleep-deprived soldier. Then they began to discuss why they joined the war.
Why did you even decide to risk your life to save slaves?
Well, I believe that no one should be put through constant labor and beatings without pay. Why did you join?
I've been thinking about it, and I guess I wanted to join because I wanted to help save my family and friends who were also born into slavery.
It's amazing how you ran away from all the abuse, but you're risking to get caught by fighting with us.
John was speechless. He turned over and not another word was said. After a couple of days, John was assigned to be a spy. He led a team deep into Confederate territory.
All right, guys, gather whatever information you can get so we can get out of here.
Just then, two Confederate soldiers walk on by and they notice John and his small team.
Hey, look over there! You spies, let's get them. Run, everyone!
Everyone started to run. Everyone got away easily except for John. Two Confederate soldiers seized him by his arms.
Ha! We got you!
John fought back with all of his strength and knocked one of the soldiers off of him. After that, the soldier pulled out their gun, aiming it right at John.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
John was taken to the nearest Confederate camp. He was beaten, whipped, kicked, and left to die. Hours later, both guards were down. John was unconscious on the cold dirt ground. He felt water dripping on his face. He awoke slowly. It was the Union force. They were here to save him. Steadily, John stood up. Cautiously, the group passed the main Confederate fort.
So, I think we should get cans on that attack of the fort. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Get your groups ready. We're attacking soon.
Yes, sir.
John gasps in the fear of this news he has just heard.
Did you hear something?
Yes, I did.
John hid behind a dense tree.
Guess it was nothing.
John started to walk away, but he was caught by a Confederate soldier.
Hey, you're not supposed to be here.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hear what you said. I was just walking by.
Sorry won't cut it. You must be punished.
Shortly after John was whipped, he was barely aware of his surroundings. With almost everything a blur, Union officers on horseback picked him up and rode off.
Please, don't hurt me.
It's okay. You're safe now. We came to save you.
John fell asleep as they rode off towards the nearest Union base. After the long ride to the Union camp, John was treated for the wounds inflicted upon him. Later that day, John met with George McClellan to discuss the intel he had gathered.
Prepare your troops.
Why?
On September 17th, Lee is planning to attack this place. If you are prepared, you can have the sheer advantage over Lee's army.
What if they don't attack on that day?
We will be prepared for whenever they attack. If we just prepare now, we will be prepared.
Whatever you say. If they don't attack, this'll all be for nothing.
With John helping out with this Union victory, President Lincoln promoted John, and he also made him the leader of all the spies. The battle plans that John gathered for the Union majorly helped in the Battle of Antietam. The Union was able to prepare for the battle on September 17th, and they were able to fend off the Union troops while still being prepared to fight off any other battles in other places. The Union also brought in extra troops because they didn't know how many troops the Confederates were going to have. This allowed them to kill all of the Confederate troops while still maintaining a good amount of troops at other bases. 87,164 Union troops went against 41,000 Confederate troops. 275 guns were shot by the Union, while only 194 by the Confederate troops. By the end of the battle, 3,672 were dead, 17,292 were wounded, and 1,771 were missing or captured. This added up to a total of 22,735 people that were wounded, killed, missing, and captured during this battle. The Union took the battle easily, knowing the strategic battle plan found by John. The Union knew exactly where the Confederates were going to attack and when they were planning to attack, so they were ready to ambush the Confederates and win the battle. The Confederacy never found who discovered the lost battle plan. John became a hero and was promoted by Ulysses S. Grant himself to a sergeant. Although he was promoted, he was never recognized for his heroic actions. Many years after the Civil War had ended, John reunited with his family. He ended his life as a high-rank colonel with 3 kids and a lovely wife. John met his master once after the Battle of Antietam. This is when he was helping the Union free the slaves from the South. He walked up to his master and punched him square in the nose. That was for having me as a slave, and then he punched him again in the nose. That's for keeping my family as a slave after I left.